All right. So joining us now is Summer. And Summer, you selected for us as a movie to watch As Above, So Below.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to play the trailer for you here. Have you watch that and see what we think. All right. So why did you pick this movie?
Personally, I love the style of this movie. I love the found camera footage movies, first person view. It always kind of puts you right into it. And honestly, with this movie, it's clear that it depicts Dante's Inferno. And I don't think there was really anything that could do a better job depicting a visual representation of Dante's Inferno as far as this movie goes.
Well, I'll disagree with you on that one because 1911's like the actual first full-length horror movie ever done, which I reviewed, was 1911's L'Inferno. Thank you. And yeah, that was like an adaptation of the book in strictest sense. But if you're going to go that route, I got to correct you. But it was a very fun, and it wasn't subtle with the allegories, and showing that even the ending, without spoiling anything, was very indicative of the ending of Dante's Inferno.
Right.
And I really, really loved that. I personally thought this movie was fantastic. It was scary. It was fun. I loved how the main character played things intelligently. Like, she was very strong-willed, but she never really came across as annoying. And that was a pretty delicate line to walk with, I think, that character in particular.
Right. And to be fair, I feel like this movie is basically the national treasure of horror movies.
Right. While still being scary.
And not focusing on one kind of scare, like jump scares or, music scares like Insidious or whatever. But this movie definitely hit home with a lot of points. It hits home with your emotions. It hits home with everything that you could be possibly afraid of. And it did a well job with it.
Well, I tend to agree. Nick, you haven't seen this?
I want to now.
It's honestly fantastic. The lore of the film behind it is really interesting because being that it's based on, it's not a big spoiler at all, the fact that it's for the hunt for the Philosopher's Stone. So it's, it gets into, alchemy, it's history. So it's got an interesting take on that. But that and the fact that it's in the catacombs of Paris. So it's...
Well, based on alchemy, but accurate historical alchemy. A big point of when they achieved some success with this was when they started going down the route of investigating, Nicholas Flamel?
Yeah, yes. Yep.
Famous alchemist. So, this movie had a lot of really good historical, accurate roots, and it just really sold it all the more in my mind.
Yeah, and it's one of the few where all the characters, I think, were all very likable. Like, none of them, I saw them were like, oh, I can't stand this guy, I can't wait for them to die. I normally have a few characters like that in the film.
They were all likable and they were all necessary.
Yeah.
There wasn't any of them that were
throwaway
characters or
yeah, they were all very genuine. Papillon was, I think, charming as all get out. And the fact that, it goes into what's tormenting them personally because it gets into, Dante's Inferno. It's like, okay, this is what scares this person. It's powerful.
Yeah, and that was an element of this movie that I thought was really, really effective, was that level of personability to the scares. The fact that, yeah, a piano has no place in the catacombs of Paris, but it's not just a piano, it's the piano, the one that he had when he was a kid. Mm-hmm. That was terrifying right there.
I think one of the most scary parts of the movie was when it's completely silent in the catacombs and then you hear a phone ring out of nowhere. This blew my mind. That scared the crap out of me.
There's a little out of left field. But
yeah.
I like how the main character was just fearless. She wasn't so much worried about the supernatural. She wanted to carry on her father's legacy, and really wanted to find this stone.
She wanted answers.
She wanted answers. She did not care at all what was happening, except she did care about her friends. But
well, yeah.
Well, that almost
she just showed fearless.
that almost turned into a bit of a character arc in the storyline. Was, yeah, I mean, the person that she enlisted to help her out, that was his major, gripe about her. Even going so far as to tell the cameraman, is like, if you're going to follow her, then watch her back because she will stab you in it. And for her character to go through that kind of story arc where, yeah, I would say at the beginning that no, she didn't care about anything, including her friends. Nothing mattered to her more than getting the answers that she was seeking. That was it. And anybody else that got caught in the wake, tough, noogies.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that got resolved when, her father gets introduced more into the storyline.
Right.
And her not realizing how much he was hurting as an individual because both of them were putting their own wants before anything else. And not until the end of the movie you discover that, okay, well, maybe we should put some feels in there and show what happened.
Right.
Without trying to give away too much of the movie.
No, I was genuinely, I mean, I had seen this before. When you introduced this movie into the marathon, I had seen it before, but I was delighted to include it in there. And I think this was my third time watching it, and it was just as fantastic this time around as the first time I saw it. So I was very happy that As Above, So Below made it in there. I think everybody else had a pretty positive reception to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to thank you, Summer, for suggesting this and including that with it and joining us here. We'll have you back up on in a little bit to discuss what the Houses October built. All right.